Hey friends, I hope you're doing well. Thank you for being patient as I've been taking some time off just to to go to California, visit family, and kind of like process the new year in terms of what is going to be on this channel. And yes, I've made some changes. I'm really focusing and niching down. So I hope you enjoy what's to come, and I hope that it brings you value. And I'll go into that in a second. Actually, I'm going to go into it right now because I'm going to reintroduce this channel to you, a new intro. I never really had an intro before, but I'm going to kind of go with an intro for a while, and let me know in the comments what you think about it, okay? So here it goes. Welcome. Welcome to Stevie's Earth-Based Kitchen, located on the intersection of veganism, healthy aging, and happiness. So I am 52 years old, and I am on a journey to increase my longevity, but mostly my health span. It's not so much that I want to live longer, but I want to live healthier for a longer time. I want to be happy for many years to come. And I want to do this while doing my most favorite thing in the world, which is cooking plant-based cuisine. So I'm marrying, my obsession with, kind of science and health and longevity with cooking, which is perfect because plant-based cooking, eating more vegetables, eating more fiber is one of the best ways to increase your lifespan and do it in a healthy way. I'm gonna burp. I always burp because I get nervous when I'm on camera. Excuse me. I'm also back to fermenting lots of foods. Anyway, so also besides helping us all live longer, helping me live longer, it's my journey after all, but if you're along with it, maybe you're into that as well. And of course, I want to help make this a better world for animals by showing you that plant-based food can be easy, simple, or fancy, frugal, and delicious. And I want to do this and hope that you will choose more plants instead of fur babies. So if you're vegan or vegan curious, or just wanting to cook more plant-based foods that balance nutrition with satisfaction, and that's aimed at increasing our longevity, our health span, and, well, happiness span, then this channel is for you. So consider subscribing and maybe even hitting that bell button so that you are notified whenever I upload a new video. I will also be mixing in some wellness content like longevity wellness. Like today is pretty much a wellness video. We're not really talking about food here, but most of my videos will be about food. For instance, I have been busy filming throughout the week a video on legumes, the weight loss benefits of legumes, the longevity benefits of legumes. Legumes are pretty awesome, and they are the food that is most linked to longevity right now. That's like, given the current data, that is the situation with legumes. And I have been making a bevy of dishes that you would have never guessed were legumes, like Burmese tofu and breads and all kinds of things, because I want to show you that legumes, they're not boring. They're not just dal and lentil loaves. They can be so much more, and they are so nutritious. Like if you're going to get anything in your pantry, you need to get you some red lentils. There's just so much you can do with them, and very, very, very simple things. Like you can make the easiest bread with legumes, easier than what you could do with wheat. It's so amazing. And I'll have that video up real soon. It's a good reason why you want to hit the bell button so you'll be notified. I'm trying to get my cadence. I'm trying to get a really good schedule. I want to do 2 videos a week and plus the live on Thursdays, which I'll tell you about in a second. Though, that I am bringing you on my own personal wellness journey as I educate myself and implement all the things that I'm learning. I'm not a dietitian. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not a scientist of any kind. I'm not a physician. I'm none of that. But I am a lifelong student, and I love to take deep dives into subject matters that I'm really... Subject matters. I love to take a deep dive into subjects that I'm really, really interested in. And making videos about this will also help me look at all of this information in a very organized way. So I'm very excited about this journey that I'm on, and I'm super excited to be sharing this journey with you. I hope you get a lot of useful information out of it. Honestly, I hope to help you live longer, because that is meaningful shit, man. That would be meaningful. I almost want to cry, because that would be seriously, that if I could do that, that's just, that would be me living a really freaking purposeful life. It would bring me so much joy, and I'm just gonna stop right there. So, but I do want you to know, I don't plan on lecturing you. I'm just gonna talk about the benefits of certain foods, for a couple minutes or so, and then I'm gonna go on with the cooking. So this is not a lecture hall, but I will leave all the information below. Like, I'll leave my sources below. I'll leave like the YouTube videos of people who go, into it further, who do deeper dives, and I will, cite my sources and, give you links to the books that I've been reading. I'll do all of that, but mostly what you're going to get here is actionable information. Like, what can you do with this information? How can you prepare your food? How can you implement your exercises in a way that works for you, in a way that you can sustain, that fits with your personality and your lifestyle. I mean, I'm saying this is about you, but again, it's about me. This is how I'm doing it, but I want to show you, I want to give you an example of what I'm doing. I'm just a normal person who's not particularly obsessed with exercise or, getting a six-pack or just, trying to be hot. I just want to do what I'm doing now. I really love life, and I just want to keep that going for as long as possible. I want to stay mobile. I want to stay healthy. I want to do my best to stave off diabetes, cancer, cardiovascular disease. I just want to enjoy life. That's it. I'm also about consistency and moderation. I want to make easy and enjoyable lifestyle changes. I don't want to set myself up for failure. As I said, my goal is to lengthen my good years, to lengthen the now. How I feel right now, I want it to last. I'm not trying to lose 10 pounds before summer, although I have a feeling I am going to lose that 10 pounds before summer, maybe even 20, because I kind of need to if I want to optimize my longevity. And if you haven't figured it out, I'm also pretty crunchy. So I like to keep my remedies, my wellness, pretty close to nature. Like, I use nature to guide me, hence the earth-based kitchen. And I like to keep things cruelty-free naturally. So I'm not really big into pharmaceuticals and all of that, although I will share what I learn with you, because there's things like metformin and M&M and like supplements and stuff out there that look promising. I'm not likely to use them myself, but I'll share what I learn, especially if they've made some breakthroughs. So yes, I'm guided by evidence, but I do like to keep things hippie. So I'm going to go a little bit into the research and what I've learned, the things that are motivating my lifestyle changes. If that is something that is boring to you, don't worry, just go down into the show notes and you'll see timestamps, and you can go straight to, the content, the lifestyle changes that I'm making straight away. This is really interesting. Let me get a little closer. Did you know that 75 to 95% of aging is due to lifestyle and luck? So what I'm saying is that 5% to 25% of that is due to genetics. We don't know how much luck figures into it, but since we don't know, since we can't solve for luck, let's just assume that 75 to 95% of aging is due to things that we can change now in our lives. This gives me so much hope and something to do as well. So Andrew Steele is an Oxford-educated scientist who wrote the book Ageless. So he was originally trained in physics, but he changed to computational biology once he saw all the promise in longevity science. And it is like a seriously super sexy field right now. Like super, super sexy. There are new developments daily. In fact, every day that you survive, every day that you live, makes it more likely that you are going to live longer and longer and longer because of all the new things that they're discovering. There's just so much happening on the longevity front. It's ridiculous. It's super hot. And Andrew Steele, he feels that aging is a humanitarian crisis, which it sounds kind of hyperbolic, but if you're approaching it from the point of view that one day we're going to be in the future and we're going to be looking back in disbelief on how we used to think that aging was inevitable and not really a disease in itself. So he's trying to get us to kind of reframe our mind around aging, to think of it this way, more as a disease than as something that is just going to happen to us that we can't do anything about. So I don't know, at 52, we'll see, but I have a feeling that my grandson is going to have a very, very different future. I mean, some say that the person who's going to live to be 150 years is already living right now. Yes, Andrew Steele does not believe that we're so limited by a genetic component. We're more limited by lifestyle and things that we don't know yet, which is very interesting because I inherited a bunch of books on my family's genealogy. And when I look back at my family from the 20th century, I have a lot of family members who have died at 60, which is sketchy because I'm 52. But if I go back even further, if I go back to the 19th century, the family was living to be 80 and over 100. Back in the 19th century, family, they were Quakers. They lived a simple life. I'm a Quaker now, but they lived a simple life. They lived more off the land. They ate whole food that they farmed. In the 20th century, a lot of people were drinking lots and lots of beer, eating TV dinners, planting themselves in front of the TV and watching sports and smoking, just doing lots of things that are just not healthy for you. Working long hours at a desk. Although my mom, she was a bit hard on her body, which is one of the reasons why I'm kind of inspired, to do this channel. She lived to be 78, and she was good, and then she was bad, and then she was good, and then she was bad. But she lost her mobility pretty early on. She smoked for a long time. She partook in pleasures that she probably shouldn't have. So there's a book that I'm reading right now. I'm listening to it on my Audible. It's called Lifespan. It's by David A. Sinclair. You might have heard of him. He's got podcasts, a YouTube channel, and he's pretty big in the anti-aging front. And when I go to his Instagram page, I see that I have a lot of friends who are following him. So maybe you know about him already. He's a Harvard scientist from Australia, but he went to Harvard and he studies extreme longevity. He studies animals that live a long time, seemingly in a healthy way, such as tortoises. They live 100 plus years and they don't seem to really age. They don't seem to degenerate. They just go on and then they die. So he believes that the total life expectancy of the human race can be greatly increased. He thinks that in time there will be no limits. He also believes that aging is a disease. He believes that the symptoms of aging are diabetes, cardiovascular disease, cancer. He believes that those are actually symptoms of the disease called aging. He also counts gray hair as one of those symptoms, but I'm keeping my gray hair. I'll do whatever I can to keep my gray hair. This is my crown of glory. I don't care if it's aging. I love it. I'm going to try and describe in layman's terms what David A. Sinclair is researching. Try to convey his argument to you. Remember, I'm not a scientist. So my conveyance is not probably going to be very accurate. So you might think of it more in a metaphorical way, or at least it will give you an idea of how I understand things, so you will know how I am motivated. Does that make sense? So David A. Sinclair, he studies genes and epigenetics. Have you heard of epigenetics? If you haven't, epigenetics is defined as the modification of gene expression. So think of genes as your hardware and epigenetics as the software that changes the expression of those genes. So he believes that as we get older, there's more epigenetic noise that is created. And I think of this as, when we have our software for a while and we don't upgrade it, we get corrupt files, we get more noise. And this epigenetic noise leads to wonky gene expression, which leads to aging, and that leads to age-related diseases. He believes that there is a way to reset epigenetic alterations, thus restoring the gene expression to something that's closer to, youthful settings. And one of the ways that we can reset this is through stress, but, not the kind of stress that kills us. And this stress activates these proteins that are in the mitochondria. They're called sirtuins. And these sirtuins put the cells into repair mode. So I'm sure you've heard other ideas like this. If you're into microneedling your face, you probably heard that, you want to damage the cells a little bit in order to tell the collagen to come and repair your face and to sort of restore it to a more youthful setting. Does that make sense? So there are probably many ways to activate sirtuins, with stress. So you can fast, you can spend time being cold. You can maybe drink a little bit. You can exercise, because when you exercise, you damage your muscles and they build themselves back up. We call this hormetic stress or hormesis. hormeses. I think it's hormeses. And there's ways that we can activate them chemically, like through food. He believes that there are lots of foods that kind of grow up in a stressful environment, and they've activated their survival circuits, within that plant, and that we can actually ingest those plants and get the benefit of that activated survival circuit, which involves sirtuins and things like that. So one particular thing is wine. Wine has resveratrol, and I'm not really sure how resveratrol relates to sirtuins, but grapes, and I used to be a wine professional, so I know a little bit about grapes, but in order to get a good wine, you kind of need a grape that has been stressed a little bit. A stressed grape will have a thicker skin, will have more phenolics and all the good things that you want in a wine, and he's saying that drinking those stressed grapes will give you the benefit of their stress, and it will actually activate your own survival circuit, your own sirtuins. Too much stress and you'll end up like this tree. That's not hormetic stress. This is deadly stress. So we had a mega storm a couple of days ago, and it knocked down this tree, and it was this huge storm that went all the way up the East Coast, all the way up into Canada. But it knocked down this tree in our neighbor's yard. Look at that 20-foot high root ball. Isn't that insane? I'm so glad it didn't fall on our house. Just sketchy. Let's get into the lifestyle changes that I'm making to help myself live longer. So I kind of made a joke the other day with my husband. I said, well, I'll try it for a week and see what happens. But no, this is not for a week. These are changes that I plan to make for my entire life. So I really need to make them sustainable, something that I would enjoy doing. One thing that I want to preface here before going into my quote-unquote resolutions, my lifestyle changes that I'm making, is that they are actually not New Year's resolutions. Because New Year's resolutions just set you up for failure. Period. That's just how it works. First of all, the New Year's occurs in the dead of winter. Look around. Look around. Everything is pretty much in a state of dormancy. Nothing is bearing fruit. This is a time for pondering, for meditating, hibernating, processing, thinking about the future, but not necessarily setting things in stone. But it's easy to get caught up in the business of New Year's resolutions because, New Year's itself is pretty much a marketing campaign.
Hi, this is Editing Stevie, and I have come to reel in Talking Stevie because she's about to get a little bit too much into New Year's, the history, the marketing, and capitalism. We're just going to nip this little info dump in the bud and get on with the lifestyle changes. Walking an hour at a pace of 3 to 3.5 miles per hour on most days. This would be considered moderate intense exercise and satisfies the Harvard requirement of 150 to 300 minutes of moderate intense exercise per week. But you could do half the time if you increase the intensity of your exercise. I just walk around the perimeter of my yard, just like this. And I do this whenever I lose my focus while I'm working. I get up and I just start walking. And oftentimes I listen to music that is paced at 3 miles per hour. And if you do a quick search on Spotify or Apple Music, you can easily find music that is paced at 3.5 miles per hour.
Number 2, I'm going to stop eating before I'm fully satiated, before I'm full. I'm going to allow myself to be hungry. I'm going to allow myself to exist in a state of want. First of all, let's take a moment to think about the philosophical aspect of existing in a state of want. It is a beautiful thing to cultivate a sense of want in your life, a sense of desire. It's fun to desire things, right? It's fun to have crushes. It's fun to dream big about the little things in life. Because one of the issues in modern Western society is that we have everything at our fingertips. Everything is on demand, and it leaves us in a state of constant satiation without ever wanting anything. I think that actually contributes to depression. I think this might even be what has doomed my 20th century ancestors. There's a lot to unpack here, and maybe I will get into it videos down the line, but it's something that we can ponder right now, right? While we're in winter. It's something to process. But isn't it so much better to get something after you have been wanting it and working for it for a long time? Doesn't food that you have pined for taste better? Like I used to, before I was vegan, I mean, not that you can't do this being vegan, but I used to do it before I was vegan. Every birthday, I would look forward to a birthday cupcake, and I pined for it like weeks up to my birthday. I would be so excited. You know, since I've been really more healthy and not eating a lot of sugar and really into sweets that much, I no longer pine for it. So it's kind of sad because it's, like I said, it's fun to have a crush on cupcakes. I take vacation, for instance. Oftentimes when we plan to go on vacation and we pay for it and it's months ahead, and every time, you know, we have a hard day, we dream about this vacation that we're going to be on. We pine for it. We really, really cultivate a want for it. And once we get on the vacation, like the first couple of days of vacation, everything is amazing. The food is amazing. It's so fun to have cocktails, ocean, or the mountains, or wherever you are, Paris. It's all amazing. But there's a downside to vacation often, especially if it's, you know, a couple weeks, and if you're kind of staying in one place, you start getting habituated to vacation life, and you start taking it for granted. I could see a future where entrepreneurs might take this into consideration and kind of build in some kind of modality in order to prevent this habituation, you know, making vacations even better. I mean, I think that if people think this way, think about the way that perception changes our enjoyment of things, and if we kind of integrate this into business plans and everything, we could, I don't know, it would just give a whole new dimension to the way we do things. So back to food. Not satisfying your hunger and allowing yourself to be hungry is not only good for the philosophical aspects of, you know, cultivating a sense of want, but it's also good for the hormetic stress, which may lead to longevity and as well weight loss. So I like to pretend that I'm a hunter-gatherer person and that I don't start to gather or maybe hunt. I mean, I'm vegan, so I'm probably not hunting, but you know what? If I were a hunter-gatherer, I might actually hunt my food because it would be a very different situation. Either way, I like to think that the hunger is what motivates me to go out and get my food. And then you go out and get your food, and it takes a while. And while it's taken a while, you're engaged in physical activity. You're getting hungrier and hungrier. You're not satisfied right away. You don't get your food right away. You go through a process, you know, where you're hungry, and then you finally get your food, and the food probably tastes so good, and that just seems to be like how it's supposed to be. And you know, it triggers the survival circuitry in our, you know, DNA, in our epigenetics, that helps us repair and maybe even restore ourselves back to earlier settings. And it just seems like it's the right way. It's the natural way. So another thing that I'm going to do, number 3, is I'm going to lift weights. Maybe 10 or 20 minutes, 1 to 2 times a week. It's not optimal. I realize that. But it is doable for me. And given that my sedentary state right now, like I don't lift weights. I lift dog food. You know, I lift trash. I go to the dump and I lift trash and put it over the bin. You know, I do things like that. But I work, but I don't lift weights. So 1 to 2 times a week, 10 to 20 minutes is definitely going to increase my muscle mass. And it's better than nothing. And actually, it's a lot better than nothing. I mean, studies show that just 1 to 2 times a week makes a huge difference in terms of longevity and even fitness. Number 4, I'm going to do cardio twice a week. And this is also based on data. I used to run. I used to trail run, which I really, really enjoy. So I want to do that again. Just 5 miles, nothing big. So in the past, I used to go crazy. And like if I hadn't been running for a while, I'd go straight into 13 miles or something, which ultimately result in injury. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to practice moderation. Sometimes it's hard for me to leave my house and go to a place to go exercise. I like to stay here, but I'm going to make an extra effort to do this. Now, maybe I might do this when I go to the grocery store. I go to a co-op in a really cute town that has a river walk. The store is right next to the river walk, and maybe I'll just run up and down that river walk a couple times on the days that I go shopping. Then I won't have to leave my house and leave my dogs any extra than I normally would. I might be gone an hour longer, but it's not like I have to make the decision to leave my dogs more times a week than I usually do. So number 5, fifth thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to limit my alcohol consumption, 1 glass of wine a night. Now, I'm already doing pretty well on this because I haven't been drinking any wine. I've been having a beer like every couple days. But when I was on vacation, I was having a lot of wine, which wasn't very long ago. It was just like a few days ago. And before that, I would have like 2 glasses of wine, 1 glass of wine, 2 glasses of wine. Like, I was definitely drinking more than I'm supposed to, more than what is recommended. Now, there was a study that I read a few months back, and I'll try and find it to put down in the show notes. But it said that for women, 1 glass of wine a night was the perfect dose based off of very minimal studies. Like there's not a lot of studies for this. And I don't even think this one was very robust. But 1 glass of wine seemed to do the best in terms of providing hormetic stress and getting the benefits of the antioxidants. So I'm gonna go with this. I know that it's not a big or very robust study, but I do love my wine, and at least this is a way that I can convince myself that I can have my wine and drink it too. Okay, number 6. This one should be pretty easy, I think. Maybe not so much in the winter. Okay, I am going to be cold. I'm going to take cold showers, maybe even take cold baths. When I go walking, doing my laps, I'm going to do it in the cold. See, a lot of these things can be kind of combined. Have you heard of cold therapy? I'm not going to get into cold therapy, but I'm going to do that. I'm going to do a little bit of cold therapy. Again, it's good for activating your survival circuit. Hormetic stress. Russians swear by it, and so do Finns and other Scandinavians. Number 7, I'm going to get my ferritin levels checked. High iron is bad for you, and ferritin is iron. This is aluminum. High iron in your body can introduce free radicals, and it can be very damaging to your body, and it can contribute to premature aging. Hemochromatosis is a disease where there's too much iron in your body, in your organ, and it runs in my family. And I remember, getting my biometrics done a while back, like probably about 10 years ago, and my iron levels were high. But there have been times when they weren't very high. So my sister has hemochromatosis. The cure is simple. You just donate blood. I have not made a doctor's appointment. So I'm going to make a doctor's appointment to get my blood done so I could see what my ferritin levels look like and see all the other things, see all my other numbers. Because I'm curious, being vegan, what that's done to my cholesterol and the other things. But yeah, so I'm going to make a doctor's appointment. I'm going to get my ferritin levels checked. And if I have to, I'm going to start donating blood. I really don't like to go to the doctor. This is kind of the thing with me. I have made 3 appointments to donate blood just in case I have hemochromatosis that I never made. I canceled them because I was scared. Before the spring equinox, I'm going to get this done. I'm going to check it off because it's serious. Hemochromatosis can do bad things to your body. Number 8. This is the last one. I'm going to be being more involved in my Quaker meetings, and I'm also going to be more involved with you guys. Those lives that I've been doing every Thursday, I'm going to continue doing those lives. It's going to be called Magical Living on Purpose anymore. It's just going to be more casual. It's just going to be Leanne and me shooting the shit, just girlfriend talk, but we're going to be going live every Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern. Well, I think I'm going to conclude this video because it's getting pretty long. I've gone through all my 8 things. I hope this video has been helpful for you. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope maybe it might have inspired you, and I hope you will come back for the food videos that are coming up. I so appreciate you being here with me. If you watched the whole video, that's amazing. That means you probably liked the video, so consider giving it a like. It tells YouTube that my videos are worth watching. If you hated the video, and if that's why you stayed till the end, we'll give it a dislike, because it will also tell the YouTube algorithm that my videos are worth watching too. Anyway, have a wonderful rest of the week, and I will have a new video out, that legging video out real soon. Okay, bye.